Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1 with the members
Raden Rananda Revian,
Salma Zakianisa,
and Silvania Sabrina. We will be discuss about the complexity of issues and discourse in African and Middle Eastern literature. We will discuss about the bayang-bayang hitam, Mesir Nawal El Sadawi or Perempuan di Titik Nol, and Minaret. Let's move to the first topic. The first topic will be presented by Raden Rananda. Raden Rananda, time is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for moderator to give me time to speak in front of you all. So in this opportunity, I'm going to talk about The Bayang-Bayang Hitam by Najib Kailani. In this novel, Najib Kailani tries to reveal the human values of the ideological upheaval that occurred in Ethiopia. And since of the Iyasu, who is never satisfied with his surroundings, which are full of hypocrisy from religious leaders. A deep search for universal human values about freedom of religion, tranquility, honestly, and about the religion of truth, the chaos that he finally had to expel from his power because he continued to hold fast to what he believed in. And in the end, Ethiopian had to fall into the hands of other countries as a result of the greed of Tavari, a governor in one of Ethiopia's region, who was also an imperial relative, because he didn't agree with the proposal of the young emperor who gave religious freedom to his people. And this is what Najib Kailani is very good at reliving and giving from his novel. And next slide. So character in the novel, the character indirectly described by the author through a series of conflicts, and in every inner turmoil of each character indirectly describe the character of the character in the novel. The characters in this novel are first, Iyasu, an Ethiopian emperor since 1913, I mean. Mikhail is Iyasu father. He is a Muslim forced to convert to Christianity, and he is a governor of the Walelo region in Ethiopia. Third, Suarcos is Liasu's biological mother. She is the son of the former Ethiopian Emperor Menelik. Fourth, Melvin is Liasu's younger brother. And fifth, Jauditu is the younger brother of Suarcos, which means the aunt of Liasu and Melvin. In the end of the story, he becomes emperor who replaced Liasu because at the time there was a civil war between Liasu and Tafari, which resulted in Liasu having to step down from his position. And the next, Gugosa is the husband of Jauditu and the ruler of the region. And the next, Tafari is the husband of Liasu, Melvin's younger brother, and also the ruler of the region. And the other characters, namely Liasu's first wife and Liasu's second wife, and also Tafari's cook and intelligence and cardinal in the era of Liasu's leadership, namely Mr. Matthews. And next slide. So issue lies in this literary work. The first is human values, dissent, and opposition. In general, the themes in this novel carry the values of humanity which are contained in the ideological differences. Iyasu, who wants his country to live in peace with a sense of tolerance between religion community that is upheld by his people. However, Tafari, who is still related to the imperial family, think that a country cannot exist if there are religious differences. He wants to make Ethiopia a Christian country so that there is no other religion in Ethiopia other than Christianity. This desire is also not only the desire of Tabari, a governor in one of the regions in Ethiopia led by the young Emperor Iyasu, and and Kras, a pastor in Ethiopia, also think the same as Tabari. So that they together oppose that decision of the young emperor Iyasu. So I think that's all. Thank you, moderator.
Next, we move to Next, we move to the second topic, and the second topic will be presented by Salma Zakianisa. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sofani. Next, Nawa Elsa Dawi's work, Woman 8.0. The fiction novel written about 1973 or 1975 and published in 1977. It's inspired by the encounter between Nawal and a female prisoner named Firdaus. From her prison cell, Firda was sentenced to die for having killed a pimp in a Cairo street, thus of her life from village childhood to city prostitute. Society's retribution for her act of defiance that she welcomes as the only way she can finally be free. Firdaus is very sad woman because she has experienced many painful things. She was harassed by her friends, even her uncle who educated, and also her husband was bad. And next slide about feminism and patriarchal culture. So in patriarchal culture, male dominance tends to make women inferior. This restricted women's freedom. The figure of widows also allows this influence in family during the childhood. She and her mother are often treated unfavorably by his father, by her father, and in fact they are willing to sleep from her to put their father first. It's explained that women submit to the needs of men and accept them. In the novel, it is said that up to the date of his mother, Firdaus had to face the duty of washing her father's feet whenever this was called. This action then shared Firdaus' identity as a family servant. And about feminism, Firdaus wants to lead through his uncle a destiny that raises happiness without any woman's rule exists in her husband's environment and is according to her wishes. Next, about gender perspective. The issues of gender perspective contained in the novel Woman 8.0 are illustrated by Firdaus as a woman thus corresponds by the spirit expressed in the form of action. One gender and the marginalization of women. As a result of the social exclusion, women are the second most prevalent in society. Women are portrayed as weak and irrational, not as men. The character of this novel, Firdaus, is strongly aware of her position as a woman, but she is opposed with the image that men is there. Number two is gender and subordination. So, science shows the protagonist of this novel, Firdaus, has had a very different from the above conception. felt that she didn't have the same assessment. Another key is gender and stereotypes. There's stereotypes or markings given to a woman by existing social and cultural structures, which results in a woman experiencing injustices and persistent inequality. One marking given after the baby cycle was known. The idea of this distinction between maternal and the lesson for gender violence, because violence against women is also violence, rape, sexual physical violence, while insults and verbal abuse that violate nor identity are considered psychological violence. So Nawal El-Awada, was novel which shows the struggle of women to change in the values and attitudes of Egyptian toward women, which is not fully achieved. So that's about 1.0. Thank you.
Next we move to the last topic. Will be presented by me, Minaret. Minaret is a lyric and insightful novel about Islam and an alluring glimpse into a culture Westerners are only just beginning to understand. It's one of the writings by Laila Abu Laila. This work inspired by a glimpse of her life with her mother and her grandmother who taught religion while living in Khartoum, Scotland. Besides that, Abu Laila is one of the writers of Muslim women who write in the United States and Britain whose writing focus on Besides, Abu Laila is one of the writers of Muslim women who write in the United States and Britain whose writing focus on Muslim women who adhere to Islamic values living in the West. This novel was written in English and published in 2005. This novel is exciting to read that talks about the life's journey of young Sudanese woman named Najwa, who goes from having everything and living quite the fancy life to losing all her status, wealth, and family due to a coup that overthrows the Sudanese government and ousts her father. As a result, she finds solace in turning to her faith and religion, and the story outlines the turn of events that led to her, previously a school individual, to seek refuge in her religion and fail. This novel represents every Muslim diaspora life, especially Muslim women living in the West. In this Minaret novel, telling stories set in two cities, namely Khartoum and London. Next slide. There are at least three issues that are mentioned in the novel that I will convey. The first issue is about the concept of hijab between obligation and privacy. Minaret stresses how far Abu Laila agrees with hermeneutic Islamic feminists concerning the following issues like reinterpretation of some religious sources from feminist and progressive perspectives, decolonizations, patriarchy, hijab, and harem. And the novelist agrees that the issue of hijab is a matter of personal freedom. It looks like a hat for men. She also thinks that the enforcement of Sharia shouldn't be mandated by patriarchal authority. Therefore, Abu Laila's work always deconstruct and devalue the concept of patriarchy because it's accused of sidelining women and deconstructing societies. This patriarchal fanaticism stresses that both women and children are in dire need of essential orientation and absolute guardianship. And the second issue is about attacking hijab. Najwa's friend, Randa, accuses the Iranian girls in chadars of being crazy. Both Randa and Anwar reach some stereotypes about Muslims, Africans, and Arabs. Randa is irritated by the sight of failed students in Khartoum University. Anwar, as well as anti-Islamic feminists, accuses the Arabs or Africans of double standards, bigotry, narrow-mindedness, and hypocrisy. Moreover, they are unreliable in leading their countries. He went on as if Najwa were a child who needed to be taught the fact of life, as if Najwa lived in a happy, innocent world and needed shaking up. Here it is quite clear that the West, as well as the Muslims, is to blame for deconstructing, distorting, and devaluing the East and Islam. The green roots, both men and women, in the African and Arab countries have always been secluded and pacified. They can neither express their viewpoints positively nor participate effectively in the political and social arenas. We see them only at the time of elections for corrupt politicians, in return for trivial financial benefits. In brief, they are to blame for their inferior and downtrodden lives. They should say a big no in order to live in the center rather than on the periphery. Next slide. And the last issue is about the defense of hijab. In Minaret, Najwa decided to wear hijab and to be a devout Muslim for achieving security and stability, as well as a means of avoiding harassment. Failing has given Najwa the chance to move freely from place to another without being recognized or annoyed. It's a kind of revolt against modern civilization and colonizations. In the Sudan, she doesn't wear the hijab because women there are not violated and or oppressed as the other always portrays. Wearing the hijab doesn't prevent Najwa from working or enjoying her life. Furthermore, the fundamentalist Tamer highly values his American teachers, which cited from Minaret page 117. Here there are all these anti-American feelings. It bugs me. My American teachers were really nice. And in fact, the hijab hasn't prevented women from education, politics, trade, and even leading battles. So that's all our presentation from Group 1. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask through WhatsApp group or in the comment section. So thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam